Welcome to Story Time with Gigi. I'm so glad you're here today. Today's story is from my friend Kristen. It's The Lorax by Dr. Seuss. At the far end of town where the grinkle grass grows, and the wind smells slow and sour when it blows, and no birds ever sing expecting old crows, in the street of the lifted Lorax. And deep in the grinkle grass, some people say, if you look deep enough, you can still see today where the Lorax once stood, just as long as it could, before somebody lifted the Lorax away. What was the Lorax? And why was it there? And why was it lifted and taken somewhere? From the far end of town where the grinkle grass grows, the old Onceler still lives there. Ask him. He knows. You won't see the Onceler. Don't knock at his door. He stays in his lurkum on top of his store. He lurks in his lurkum, cold under the roof, where he makes his own clothes out of muffed moof. And on special dank midnights in August, he peeks out of the shutters, and sometimes he speaks and tells how the Lorax was lifted away. He'll tell you, perhaps, if you're willing to pay. On the end of a rope, he lets down a tin pail, and you have to toss in 15 cents and a nail, and the shell of a great grandfather's snail. Then he pulls up the pail, makes the most careful count to see if you paid him the proper amount. Then he hides what you paid him away in his snub, in a secret strange hole in his gervilous glove. Then he grunts, I will call you by whisper my phone, for the secrets I tell you are for your ears alone. Slup, down slups the whisper my phone to your ear, and the old Onceler whispers are not very clear, since they have to come down through a snurgly hose, and he sounds as if he had a smallish bee up his nose. Now I'll tell you, he says, with his teeth sounding gray, how the Lorax got lifted and taken away. It all started way back, such a long time back. Way back in the days when the grass was still green, and the pond was still wet, and the clouds were still clean, and the songs of the swoomy swans rang out in space. One morning I came into this glorious place, and at first saw the trees, the truffula trees, the bright-colored truffets of the truffula trees, mile after mile in the fresh morning breeze. So colorful. And under the trees I saw the brown barbaloots frisking about in their barbala suits, and they played in the shade and ate the truffula fruits. From the rippleless pond came the comfortable sound of the humming fish humming and splashing around. But those trees, those truffula trees, all my life I've been searching for the trees such as these. The touch of the truffets, which was much softer than silk, and they had the sweet smell of a fresh, buttery milk. I felt a great leap of joy in my heart. I knew just what I'd do. I unloaded my cart. In no time at all I had built a small shop. Then I chopped down a truffula tree with one chop, and with great skillful skill, and with great speedy speed, I took the soft tuffet, and I knitted a thneed. The instant I'd finished, I heard a gazump. I looked, I saw something pop out of a stump of the tree I chopped down. It was sort of a man. Describe him. That's hard. I don't know if I can. He was shortish and oldish and brownish and mossy, and he spoke with a voice that was sharpish and bossy. Mister, he said with a sawdusty sneeze, I am the Lorax, and I speak for the trees. I speak for the trees have no tongues. I am asking you, sir, at the top of my lungs. He was very upset, and he was shouted and puffed. What's that thing you've made with my truffle tufts? Look, Lorax, I said, there's no cause for alarm. I chopped down one tree. I'm not doing no harm. I'm being quite useful. This thing is a thneed. A thneed's a fine something that all people need. It's a shirt, it's a sock, it's a glove, it's a hat. But it has other uses. Yes, far beyond that. You can use it for carpets, for pillows, for sheets, or curtains, or cover your bicycle seats. The Lorax said, Sir, you are crazy with greed. There is no one on earth who would buy that fool thneed. But the very next minute I proved he was wrong, for just at that time a chap came along, and he thought that the thneed I had knitted was great. He happily bought it for $3.98. I laughed at the Lorax. You poor stupid guy. You never can tell what some people will buy. I repeat, cried the Lorax, I speak for the trees. I'm busy, I told him. Shut up, if you please. I rushed across the room, and in no time at all, I built a radio phone. I put in a quick call. I called all my brothers and uncles and aunts. I said, listen here, there's a wonderful chance for the whole Onceler family to get mighty rich. Get over here fast. Take the road to North Nitch. Turn left at Weekawan, sharp right at South Stitch. And in no time at all, in the factory I built, the whole Onceler family was working full tilt. We were all knitting thneeds, just as busy as bees, to the sound of the chopping of the truffle trees. Then, oh baby, oh, how my business did grow. Now chopping one tree at a time was just too slow. So I quickly invented my super axe hacker, which whacked all 4 truffle trees in one smacker. We were making thneeds 4 times as fast as before, and the Lorax, he didn't show up anymore. But the next week he knocked on my new office door. He snapped, I am the Lorax who speaks for the trees, which you seem to be chopping as fast as you please. But I'm also in charge of the brown barbaloots, who played in the shade in the barbala suits, and happily lived eating truffle fruits. Now, thanks to your hacking my trees to the ground, there's not enough truffle fruits to go around, and my poor barbaloots are all getting crummies because of the gas and have no food in their tummies. Oh, poor bears. They love living here, but I can't let them stay. They'll have to find food, and I hope that they may. Good luck, boys, he cried, and he sent them away. I, the Onceler, felt sad and watched them all go. But business is business, and business it must grow, regardless of crummies and tummies, you know. I meant no harm, I most truly did not. And I had to grow bigger, so bigger I got. I biggered my factory, I biggered my road, I biggered my wagons, I biggered my loads. Of the Thneeds I shipped out, I shipped them forth, to the south, to the east, to the west, to the north. I went right on biggering, selling more Thneeds, and I biggered my money, which everyone needs. Then again he came back. I was fixing some pipes when the old nuisance Lorax came back with more gripes. I am the Lorax, he coughed as he whiffed. He sneezed and he snuffled. He snaggered. He sniffed. Onceler, he cried with a ferocious croak. Onceler, you're making such a smoglocious smoke. My poor swoomy swans, why, they can't sing a note. No one can sing who has smog in their throats. Oh, they look so sick. And so, said the Lorax, please pardon my cough. They cannot live here, so I'm sending them off. Where will they go? I don't hopefully know. They may have to fly for a month or a year to escape from the smog you smogged up around here. What's more, snapped the Lorax. His dander was up. Let me say a few words about the glumpity glump. Your machinery chugs on day and night without stop, making glumpity glump on the slumpity slop. And what do you do with the leftover goo? I'll show you, you dirty old onceler man, you. You're glumping the pond where the humming fish hummed. No more can they hum, for their gills are all gummed. So I'm sending them off. Oh, their future is dreary. They'll walk on their fins and get woefully weary in search of some water that isn't so smeary. And then I got mad. I got terribly mad. I yelled at the Lorax. Now listen here, Dad. All you did is yap yap and say bad, bad, bad. Well, I have my rights, sir, and I'm telling you, I intend to go on doing what I do. And for your information, you Lorax, I'm figuring on biggering and biggering and biggering and biggering, turning more truffula trumps into Thneeds, which everyone needs. And at that very moment we heard a loud whack. From outside in the field came a sickening smack of an axe on a tree. Then we heard the tree fall, the very last truffula tree of them all. No more trees, no more Thneeds, no more work to be done. So in no time my uncles and aunts and everyone all waved goodbye. They jumped into my cars and they drove away under the smoke-smug stars. Now all that was left neath the bad-smelling sky was my big empty factory, the Lorax, and I. The Lorax said nothing, just gave me a glance, just gave me a very sad, sad backwards glance, and he lifted himself by the seat of his pants. And I'll never forget the grim look on his face when he heisted himself and took leave of this place through the hole in the smog without leaving a trace. And all that the Lorax left here in this mess was a small pile of rocks with one word, unless. Whatever that meant, well, I just couldn't guess. That was long, long ago, but each day since that day, I've sat here and worried away. Through the years while my buildings have fallen apart, I've worried about it with all of my heart. But now, says the Onceler, now that you're here, the word of the Lorax seems perfectly clear. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better it's not. So, catch, calls the Onceler. He let something fall. It's a truffula seed. It's the last one of all. You're in charge of the last of the truffula seeds, and the truffula trees are what everyone needs. Plant a new truffula, treat it with care, give it clean water and feed it fresh air. Grow a forest, protect it from the axes that hack. Then the Lorax and all his friends may come back. The Lorax spoke for the trees. I hope that you speak up too, by picking up trash that you might see on the ground. Tell me how you take care of the environment around you. And tell me what books you want me to read here at Story Time with Gigi. And make sure you subscribe so you never miss a story time. And until next time, as my friend Les Brown would say, shoot for the moon, because if you miss, you might just land amongst the stars. Bye!